Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the 2016 One Nation of Gamers circuit. Once again, I'm TJ, and I'm joined by Kriparian. This is Open Tournament number 4. And Krip, we're about to go into semifinal number 2. Battlefrog versus Brady. I see a rogue, Krip.
Well, I'm not too surprised when I see Rogue. I mean, I think Rogue is a good class these days. It's just that, decks do get pretty aggressive, and Rogue is excellent at dealing with the Zoo-style decks, but at a certain level of aggression, Rogue loses a lot of its consistency. So, yeah, it is not as well played as maybe we'd like, but it's not too bad. I'm not quite surprised. I think other classes have more surprising appearances.
Like Priest.
Priest, for instance. Yeah,
Yeah.
probably a bit more surprising these days.
Yeah.
But even then, has a few opportunities.
Yeah, Brady also does practice with the top 4 America's Championship player, Chess Dude, who's one of his practice partners, and that group of players that was in that sort of practice group really likes Rogue. So not surprised, given that fact that he's playing Rogue, and these are the exact same decks that they played throughout the entire Open. And so that means he made it through the entire Open with Rogue. And I in most Opens that I play Rogue too, just because it's one of my most comfortable classes. So I really like players that bring Rogue. Battlefrog, on the other hand, looks like he's just running,
the goods,
solid decks.
Yeah. Now, a lot of people talk about how Secret Paladin doesn't really make their top 3 decks. It's usually like 4th. So that's why we don't see it in every round. And in this round, there's none of that. As we can see, there's no Paladin either player. But yeah, still a lot of other strong classes out there. I'm mostly curious on how players view the Warlock situation. I think the last time I was on casting one of these One Nation of Gamers tournaments, I was casting with Chalky, and he was talking about how Reno Warlock has lost a lot of ground because good players realize that playing around nothing leads to fairly consistent wins against the deck. So I'm curious if the decks which you bring has transitioned to that as well. Do you think we're going to see 2 Zoo decks here?
Judging by the lineups, it feels as though Battlefrog has a Zoo Warlock, and Brady, since his lineup seems to be... actually, Brady could be going with a lineup that is good against Druid. That could be a Patron Warrior, and that could be a Zoo Warlock. It depends what the Warrior is. If the Warrior's Control Warrior, I expect it to be Arena Warlock. But if the Warrior is Patron Warrior, then I expect it to be a Zoo Warlock. But I think the consensus among a lot of players in the competitive scene, especially in North America, and since this is a U.S.-only tournament, we can consider this to be, a big part of North America. They think that Zoo Warlock's far and away the better Warlock deck. So they share the same opinion as Chalky.
Yeah, we've seen some players, Teray even in the last match, bring some of the combo-style Warlocks. While they are very fun to watch, from the tournaments that I cast, I haven't really seen that deck be very dominant or too consistent at all. So I'm hoping to see more of that, but I'm not optimistic for the players.
Yeah. Well, the players should be getting into game here in just a few moments, but I guess we'll give a little background. Battlefrog, he spends a lot of time in Twitch chat, but his name in Twitch chat is not Battlefrog. It's MVP D Rose 3, probably standing for Derrick Rose, who's an NBA player, plays for the Chicago Bulls, because Battlefrog has said that he's a big fan of all Chicago sports. So that's why he named his Twitch name after it, but I guess he decided to name his in-game name Battlefrog. And Brady is also a guy that you'll see in Twitch chat a lot. So both these guys I've talked to a lot. I watch the same streams as they do, so I interact with them quite a bit. That's why I said that they're semi-known, because if you spend a lot of time in the depths of sub 1,000 viewer Twitch chats,
you'll see these guys.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I don't do too much of that, but
yeah. We know.
I trust you.
We know.
Yeah. I'm kind of curious. I feel like Rogue doesn't really do that well against Druid. Just going back to that, I was thinking about the Rogue. It feels kind of like the oddball in Brady's lineup, where if he's going against Druid, the Rogue doesn't make too much sense. Also, I feel like Rogue, just random thoughts, I feel it's like a class that players who bring it never really bring it based on whether it's good or not. Just bring it if they like Rogue or not. I feel like Rogue's combo potential is so high, and it's probably one of the highest skill cap decks out there. The players that are just good with it are just going to continue to be good with it, while those that try to play it, when it seems like a good class, probably fail more than they should with it.
Yeah. If you talk to Rogue players, they'll always say that they're 55% favored in every single matchup, except for like Face Hunter. And even against Face Hunter, a lot of them will say that they are. So it is one of those things where I agree with you that good Rogue players will be confident no matter which matchup it is. And maybe Brady just has a comfort lineup, and he's just playing whatever the heck he wants to play without a sort of a rhyme or reason to a specific deck that he's trying to counter or a specific strategy. He's just playing 3 decks that he knows that he's good with.
I kind of wonder if he's playing Reno then. Well, I think when you play ladder, you see a lot more Reno Warlock than the tournament scene at the very least, and sometimes the open tournaments reflect the ladder play more than the invite tournaments. Yeah,
that's true. Just because you're playing against players who are pretty much right from the ladder, and it's sort of a ladder style where you can't target your opponent specifically. You have to sort of build your deck to be good against most lineups. You can't look. It's not like an 8-man tournament where you can look at the majority of the people and say, well, 6 out of the 8 are control players, so I'm going to bring decks that counter control. So it's sort of an interesting dynamic playing in the open tournaments. And looks like Brady does have the Zoo Warlock and Battlefrog. Surprise! It's aggro.
Yeah, we haven't really seen. I don't think I have seen anything other than Face Shaman from Shaman since the World Championship of 2015. That was like half a year ago.
Yeah, well, there's
been some time.
There were some players on the North American ladder who took mid-range Shaman up pretty high ranks just because it does well. It was at the beginning of the season where a bunch of people were playing Control Warrior, but it's pretty much the meta was Control Warrior and Druids, and mid-range Shaman actually does reasonably well against both those decks, especially Control Warrior. So there was a few players that did get mid-range Shaman up pretty high. But at the end of the season, when the meta is more volatile, more people are playing like Zoo and Secret Paladin, then that sort of goes away.
All right. Well, no answer from Brady here yet. Looks like you just kind of have to play out this game as if that Trog isn't there, but that Trog is going to come in swinging pretty hard next turn. The Feral Spirit is such a powerful follow-up. Even if you don't have a 2-drop, I don't think it's going to matter one bit for Battlefrog.
Not one bit.
Yeah. That's pretty rare for aggressive decks. Often aggressive decks, when you see them miss a 1 or a 2, they do fall behind, and their aggression leads to just ample amount of cards you have to use to remove the board.
Why is he going halfsies on the golden cards? If you're going to make a golden deck, make a golden deck.
And not everyone can make a golden deck.
He's just got Arcane Golems. It's like the only card that he doesn't have gold in. You can tell that that's a new tech edition.
I guess.
Just because he hasn't played it.
Alright, Implosion, he gets the 3 that he's looking for, I guess. There's a lot of 1/1s on the other side of the board, but I guess there's enough 1/1s on the other side of the board, actually.
Yeah. And Brady hasn't taken a single point of damage. So a lot of times, as the Aggro Shaman player, by the time the Warlock stabilizes on the board, you should have brought them to sub 20 health. Is the ideal situation. And if you haven't managed to do that, you're probably not going to win the game, just because the overall quality of creatures that the Zoo Warlock has is going to be so much higher than yours. And they can race you. They do have power overwhelming. They do have burst potential. And they also have Defender Vargas and Lotheb, which block you out from those big burst plays. So.
Well, he doesn't have any of that yet. Lotheb might stop like one turn, but I don't know. I feel like the big body Lotheb represents is also going to be very important in this game. Like, if you look at the Warlock's hand, he really doesn't have much. He's probably just going to have to play the 2 Death Rattle minions and pass, which is very weak.
Yeah. Being proactive on the board is important. Like I said, that point of stabilization, and by stabilization I mean the board gone. Like, the board from the Shaman cleared. Because they can always do something with one creature. You can either Flame Tongue Totem it, or, get that Abusive Sergeant on it. Totems mean that they're more likely to roll more impactful totems, like Spell Power Totems. So everything is a threat when you're talking about Aggro Shaman.
All right. Well, there is going to be some room here. That egg looks like it's going to activate. The Warlock still has a lot of life, but that is also a lot of burn on the other side of the board. That is up to 19 damage if required, and if RNG allows.
If RNG will allow it.
It's actually 22 if you roll spell damage totem.
That's quite a bit, I'd say.
Yeah. But it's this point in the game as the Shaman that you have all these direct damage cards, and you have to make decisions if it's worth to use the direct damage cards against your opponent's board to end up dealing more damage overall. I would think that will not ever be the case in this matchup because he's so far behind the board right now.
Yeah, and he actually makes...
Holy cow.
That's a lot of damage.
I would consider the Arcane Golem here. You might not get through taunts anymore past this turn.
I think you want to try and totem up also. Just to... Because if you get a Spell Power Totem, I think you just go for the Lightning Bolt now.
I kind of disagree with that.
It's never going to be more than... It's never going to be more than 4. Yeah. I meant like after the Arcane Golem, if you roll Spell Power, then you go the Lightning Bolt. Because it's never going to be more than 4 damage.
All right. Well, he's in really good shape right now. Can that board even be fully cleared? Yes. Yes, it can.
It's probably just game anyway, though.
Yeah, it probably is, as the Warlock.
You have to roll an average of 4 across both of those crackles. Well, Lotheb will block it, but...
Yeah, Lotheb blocks it. And that can be a pretty big deal. There might be a clever play here to just leave the stuff on the board and just go for it. Oh, boy. That was not the right play for many reasons. All right. Well,
I think he knows.
This actually needs to be 3 and 3.
Yeah.
Not even close.
Doesn't even need the lightning bolt. Oh my gosh. A 4 and a 6. Yeah. Well then. Yeah, so that's Battlefrog taking game number 1. It just didn't seem like Brady got caught with a hand full of his big stuff. He got caught with a hand full of his... He had his Leroy, he had his Lotheb, he had his Dr. Boom, all in his first 10 cards.
Not too bad, though. I feel like he kind of assumed a lot of unnecessary risk. Like, if he plays the Lotheb there, he's guaranteed to have another turn, and that makes his Leroy very useful. I think the play was quite clearly to Lotheb, get rid of the Arcane Golem, and just hope your opponent doesn't have 8 damage if you remove all the spells. And I think that's a reasonable assumption. If you do that, maybe you can get a Powerbomb next turn and push for lethal. Possible. But instead he goes for the more clear, the higher risk play with the Dr. Boom. And
much higher risk.
Yeah, we see that it did not work out too well for him.
Yeah. And we do know now that Brady is running the Zoo Warlock deck. Mm-hmm. If I had to make a guess, I would say that Brady has Patron Warrior. But just because it feels like it fits better. But we'll have to see. He's going to throw out the Rogue this match, though. And Battlefrog's happy? Oh, okay. He sees Living Roots and Wild Growth. and he gives just a little bit. I don't even know what he's doing.
I think he's just pretty happy with the hand.
Yeah.
I mean, I think this hand going first would be way nicer, but it's still quite good.
Mm. Quite good.
Well, it's just that it mostly has to do with the first two cards. The Living Roots and the Wild Growth are both so much better if you can play them going first.
Yeah, the coin makes it just a bit awkward. But it means
not just the coin. I mean, you're playing 2/1/1s into a rogue hero power most likely, and then you're going to follow up by a Wild Growth, which basically just catches you up to the mana curve. It doesn't actually push you ahead.
Yeah, that's true. Living Roots basically with the rogue dagger becomes a Sinister Strike.
Yeah, which is okay in this matchup at least.
Yeah. Coin will allow him to get Emperor Thorsan out. A turn quicker. That's if he doesn't. If he does pick up like a play to make on turn 4, because at the moment he's going to go into 4 mana next turn, and he probably wants to get that Azure Drake out as quick as possible.
Yeah,
but we'll see going into the next turn. Yeah. You could go over the mind control tech just because, it'll probably never be better than a 3/3 in this matchup. Maybe if a Violet Teacher comes out, but it's hard to bank on that. But I do like Coin Azure Drake here a little bit better.
Yeah, I do like the Coin Azure Drake, but it is going to get horribly punished by the Backstab SI7.
Horribly punished.
Really horribly punished. I mean, that's like game-losing level of punished. I mean, you're totally out of tempo against the Rogue who's on 30 HP.
Yeah, that's very true. The thing is, though, he does have a curve. He got Druid of the Claw into Emperor Thorsan, so he can do some pretty crazy things. He does have Force of Nature as well to couple with the Emperor Thorsan, so he can. You can play sort of the war of attrition game with the Rogue, since they're using multiple things to get tempo, and you're just using single things. So if you can, that is sap. Correct.
That is going to get sapped, I believe.
Yeah. He doesn't have a good curve after sap, though.
He kind of does. I mean, if you... Oh, he might be playing Lothar. Wow, I'm surprised on that one.
Yeah, I think that you want to be developing something proactively also when you play sap. And in that situation, he wasn't, but...
Really? I think the Blood Mage is good, because if the Druid player has to kill the Blood Mage, then he's on 4 mana, and there's no 4 mana card you're afraid of with 2 3/3s on the board.
Yeah. He might have just made a read that the Battlefrog had all spells. So he decided to go for the Lotheb to, pretty much give him a free turn. Because he would have had a pretty strong play. Like, putting Lotheb and then a sap means that if you made the read that your opponent only has spells and they only have one big minion, then you're in a pretty good spot. Because now he's in a dominating position. The only thing is that Mind Control Tech might get value. And also, Battlefrog has a lot of spells to just completely remove the board. He can also, if he wants to be super greedy, just slam down the Emperor Thorsan again.
He might do that.
And get double value.
That's what this looks like.
Yep. So that's one of the risks of sapping an Emperor Thorsan, is that he gets 2 turns. And now Force Nature costs 4. The Mind Control Tech costs 1. A 2 mana swipe. A 0 mana innervate. Whoa!
Well, sometimes those discounts do add up, but Lotheb has already been played.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny, but there are actually cases where Innervate could go back down to 1 mana past getting Lotheb. There is an internal engine that calculates negative values of mana costs. So if you have an Emperor for 4 turns, and you have an Innervate in hand for those 4 turns, and you get Lotheb, your Innervate would actually cost 1 mana.
Yeah.
The more you know.
The more. Today I learned. Crypt School.
Alright, well, MC Tech has a lot of good targets here. It's basically everything except the 1/1. And it's going to be the better 1/1, which is actually a pretty good result.
This is a
Gonna do
full
serious
clear.
damage. It's a full clear just off the swipe.
He can even innervate out the Ancient of Lore.
Mm, actually, he probably should. I don't think he needs more cards to beat this board. I think he just wants to heal. Or nothing. Okay.
I think he's going to test the waters a little bit and see whether or not he can afford to draw.
I like that, actually. I like that a lot.
Yeah, because now it costs 5 mana.
This is also a really big threat. Like, if a rogue has a board clear, he still has the board clear here.
He can play Ancient of Lore, and if he draws Savage Roar, he can combo.
And that would do it.
That would do it. Oh my god. You gotta go for it, right?
Seems pretty good to me.
Oh no. Weak.
Well, you can draw it here. No. I think I like the heal for 5.
Yeah.
You try to draw next turn.
Yep. It's in a good spot. And the double sprint hand from Brady is not doing him any favors, but he does pick up a sprint.
Yeah,
which
might
is the
now.
best draw in his entire deck, right there off the top. And we'll see if he can pick up stuff.
This prep cleave. Ooh.
You haven't seen a keeper, and you don't really want to put yourself into combo range. Also, it feels bad throwing double Abyss into an Ancient of Lore, but it might be necessary.
It would also be fun.
It would. Okay, so he played 2, so it's a 6/6. Prep Abyss would be a 10/10 plus another
12-12.
Abyss would be a 12/12.
Yeah. Well, it'd be a 2/2. Everyone knows that.
Yeah. I think what he's thinking about here is whether or not he can take that damage.
I think he's thinking about...
If he wants to play around BGH. Okay, well, I mean, he's sort of hedging his bets. He's saying, well, if you have Keeper exactly, you can deal with this.
I think he wants to save this damage to just have an out next turn. Oh, that's lethal. That's just 6 trees.
The old double Force of Nature. Oh, man.
He's got Innervate Keeper for 14 if he needs it.
Yeah, I think he had a few different ways of doing that there. So Brady is going to fall. Mm-hmm. Battlefrog goes up 2-0.
And it is the aggressive decks that are making it happen in today's tournament so far. It's going to be Battlefrog's last deck. We don't know what it is yet, but I mean, aggro's been the name of the game. I wouldn't be surprised to see another pretty clean Zulok here. And that is probably what we're going to see.
Yeah.
Zulok does actually have a pretty horrible matchup against Rogue. It is one of those like classic counter matchups where the Zulok just keeps trying to build a big board, and the Rogue is like, okay, how big do you want it? I got a Blade Flurry ready.
Yep. And we can see Blade Flurry, a double Blade Flurry already in the hand of Brady, but yeah, the rest of the hand is okay. He did keep Violet Teacher. Mm-hmm. Which with the coin is okay.
This matchup is just largely about time. If the Warlock is just playing junk that stays alive, ultimately the Rogue doesn't care. So I think right now it's actually going quite well for the Rogue.
Yep. And Battlefrog might struggle finding a win with Zoo, because he's got Rogue left. He's got a Warrior. Control Warrior is not as strong as Patron, but still does reasonably well because of all their removal and their board clears. Mm-hmm. And then it would come down to a mirror matchup, which is just a toss-up. So it's hard to say at the moment. And Battlefrog's going to keep tapping.
So many taps, yeah. You're going to have to tap in this matchup. No one is saying you don't. But the Warlock's strength is that it has all these one-drops in the deck. I mean, if you don't use them in the early stages of the game, they're just going to have such a small effect later on when the Rogue goes into the draw engine momentum and gets all the answers required.
So many options.
It's actually an awkward hand, Crip.
Is it?
It's kind of awkward.
You can always just eviscerate and then coin Cleef. That's pretty good. 6/6.
Yeah.
Doesn't die
Actually,
to power of a well.
I really like that play, actually. Maybe wants the coin to combo something with the Violet Teachers, but this just sort of feels like it's giving
the dream
Battlefrog more time. The dream! Well, Brady needs to pick up... in order to use these Blade Flurries, he needs to pick up either Spell Power, which he does pick up, or a weapon buff. And Spell Power doesn't remove everything completely.
I don't know. I think I might just see Violet Teacher, coin, attacks Doggy Blade Flurry. I mean, exactly. He's got 2 of them. Not that bad.
You still leave the Gormok on the board and the Flame Imp.
Yeah, but you actually are ahead on the board because the Gormok trades with the Teacher. The Flame Imp trades for a 1/1. You still have a 1/1 on the board, and you have Sap if he plays a big guy.
Yeah.
This works out pretty well, though.
That Direwolf's kind of lonely all the way over there on the right, though.
Oh, he's gonna get lots of friends here, I believe. We don't know how many friends he has, but we're gonna find out.
Between 2 and 4.
3 friends. That is a good number of friends here.
Yeah. He has the average number of friends.
He also has set up an excellent Blade Flurry here.
Oh, baby.
Of value. No, 4/4 Cleef though. That is a sad legendary. Actually, it's not as sad as an 8/8 would be though.
How many friends this time?
Oh, not so many. That is actually very bad for the Warlock.
He used all of his RNG on the crackle for 6 that didn't matter in that game number 1.
I think you might just backstab here just to require an answer for your Cleef. I think this is what he's thinking about.
Yeah. With the spell power though, it can answer a bigger threat, and also, yeah, I do like that actually. I was thinking he can either protect one or the other, and if he had to choose, he'd want to protect the Azure Drake.
Wow.
But clearing a board is actually really important for Zoo. For many reasons that we talked about earlier. Just not giving them anything. It basically makes so many cards in their hand useless. Power Blooming, Abusive Sergeant. So, really like that.
Well, this also makes a lot of the hand very useless. The Lothib. Farseer's pretty nice.
Oh, he's just pushing damage. I like it. Hit him
Yeah,
in the
I mean,
face.
you get punished with an Argus, but you get out of it. Oh, whoa! He can BGH. Yeah, he can BGH and Argus. He can BGH like one of the 4/4s and kill both the other minions. This is a full clear.
We'll see if he spots it.
Well, he might just not do it, is the other part.
Yeah,
Because you kind of set up a very nice board clear.
He's seen one Blade Flurry though, and there's no weapon buff, so it wouldn't be a board clear. It would be okay. Now it's almost a board clear. Especially he can attack into the imp game boss, which won't give the imp. The only thing that he'll leave on the board is a
BGH.
well, BGH and a Defender of Argus.
Oh, instead, he's going to risk it a little bit here, trying to get a cleaner clear, but he's going to need a prep.
Risk it for the biscuit. No prep picked
Does
up.
not get.
How much damage is this? 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. It's 20 damage with Power Overwhelming.
Now it's
22 damage. 2 damage off lethal. And he's going to hedge his bets against the board clear here. I do like this.
It's not going to work though.
Is it? I don't think it's not lethal because he doesn't have enough mana.
It's just going to
Right?
be a pretty clear-cut oil, SI, and Blade Flurry. There's not going to be a board. There's no lethal at all until Leroy comes out.
Yeah. I meant lethal for the rogue.
Oh, no. No, we're pretty far from that.
Oh, unless what comes out, Grip?
God.
Lethal damage. And I think
Brady
almost
falls
fell.
out of the chair and falls out of the finals bracket at the same time there. Battlefrog sweeps him 3-0. Aggro is the name of the game tonight.
Yeah, the faster decks are prevailing.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like every series has a good guy and a villain, and the good guys are winning.
Wait, no. The villains are the aggro players. You got it
Nope,
back.
that's not true. Control players are the villains, Crip.
What? No. Control players just want to have fun and play with legendaries. The aggro players are the
Aggro
ones
players
that
just
ruin
wanna
the
have
day
fun
and prevent that.
Players just want to have fun and go face, Crip.
That's
All
not
right. Well, Battlefrog does take the series 3-0. That means he moves on to face Lead Paint, who's waiting for him in the finals. Two fast decks. Brady's going to fall to the third place match, which I don't think we're going to show the third place match. That will be played off. There's a little bit of stuff on the line for them, just like a few Geico points. But nothing huge at the moment. It might have impact later on down the road, but the finals, Crib, that's what has a big impact.
Yeah, well, even the other actually has a... Actually, the third place match is playing for more Geico points than the final. In the final, first place gets 10 Geico points, second place gets 9, while third place gets 7, and fourth gets 5.
But
So actually,
technically, the first place also goes to the feature, which
yeah,
gets them a lot of money. So
I guess getting money is a good thing. Getting paid.
yeah, getting paid. Well, speaking of getting paid, if you want to get paid in an Alienware computer, yeah, that was a terrible transition. You can head over to geico.onog.gg. We're broadcasting the Open Tournament number 4 right now. There's still 6 more Open Tournaments left. We're broadcasting 10 across the rest of the year for the next 4 months, I think, 4 or 5 months.
Yeah.
So if you guys want to sign up and also enter in to win that Alienware PC, make sure you head over to that website and get signed up right now. You could be in the same place as Battlefrog, smorking your way to the finish line and winning lots of money, winning lots of Geico points. So make sure you do that. But we are going to have the finals coming up next. It is going to be Battlefrog versus Lead Paint. Don't go anywhere. The ONOG 2016 circuit continues right after this.